What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. Today, I'm doing my 2024 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship predictions. I'm going to go through all four drivers competing for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship, and then I'll tell you who I think will be your 2024 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first driver that will be competing for a championship in Phoenix later this week is Cory Heim. Cory Heim has had a very strong season in 2024. He has picked up 6 wins throughout 2024, has 13 top 5s, 17 top 10s, has led 666 laps, and has a 7.4 average finish. He has been super consistent throughout the 2024 season, and while the last couple weeks he's not been as strong as he was early in the year, we know he's been really good at a lot of types of tracks. He's won multiple times at Kansas so far this year, and has also been pretty solid at shorter ovals so far, though other drivers competing in this title have been very, very good on the shorter ovals as well. Now, Cory Heim, in my opinion, has a pretty solid advantage going into this round. He actually did compete in the championship for last year, and it looked like he was going to win the title last year before, unfortunately, Carson Hocevar dumped him, and then chaos ensued, and he retaliated against Carson Hocevar at last year's race. But Cory Heim also very good at shorter ovals and really good at Phoenix Raceway as well. He's always been up front at that track, and he's shown a lot of speed at that racetrack as well. So I think he does have advantage in that area. His only weakness is there's probably going to be some guys below him here that we'll talk about who I think might have a faster car. But Cory Heim will have a good chance and opportunity to be up front. He'll be the third best pit selection as well, which I think will hurt him a little bit in the race. But I do think that 11 team will bring the pace and speed where he can have a chance to win that first title. He's been really strong here at Phoenix. I think he's going to be one of the guys to watch out for. I think the 11 team is going to bring the pace and speed because usually the championship guys are the ones that bring that speed so they can have an opportunity and a great chance to compete for that title. So we'll see how Cory Heim ends up doing, but I do think realistically this 11 team is going to be very, very fast, and I think he'll be super, super competitive in the NASCAR Truck Series race on Friday. We'll see how the race ends up going. He'll could be competing for a championship this year. The second driver that will be competing for a NASCAR Truck Series championship this year is Christian Eckes. Christian Eckes has won 4 races so far in 2024, including last week's race at Martinsville Speedway, though we'll get to that a little bit later. He's had 14 top 5s so far this year, 21 top 10s, has led 1,050 laps, which is the first time someone has done that since Kyle Busch all the way back in 2010, and he has a 5.5 average finish. While Christian Eckes has not won as many races as Cory Heim this year, Christian Eckes has been really, really consistent with only one finish, I believe, outside of the top 10. And that one race he finished outside the top 10, guess what happened there? He had an electrical issue early in the race at Atlanta and was leading that event. So he could have had a chance and opportunity to have 5 wins so far this year. This 19 team has killed it with consistency throughout the year. Now, he did cause some tempers this past week at Martinsville Speedway when he got into Taylor Gray. Taylor Gray vowed for revenge potentially, even though he did say he's probably going to have to race him clean. We're probably going to see some sort of revenge throughout the race, so that is going to hurt him. Now, Christian Eckes does have a big advantage for a couple reasons. Number one, he has been extremely strong on the shorter ovals this year. He won at Martinsville. He won both Martinsville races this year. He, of course, also won at Bristol earlier this year, and Nashville's kind of a shorter oval too. So I think that's where his advantage is going to come into play. And remember, while all the chaos is going on behind him last year, he won the race last year in 2023 at Phoenix, despite not making it to the championship 4. Had he done that, he would have been competing for a title, but I think that Christian Eckes is absolutely one of the favorites going into this event. But the thing I'm worried about for Christian Eckes is what Taylor Gray vowed for, and I think Taylor Gray is going to be having that all in his mind throughout this week, and Christian really didn't help himself or really do any favors, and I think it unfortunately will end up affecting him in the event, because you have a Tricon truck that's not happy, and he's, of course, begins going up against his teammate too. So we'll see how Christian ends up doing. I think he's got a really great chance and opportunity because he's defending winner, but I'm very worried that there's going to be some tempers flaring that could end up taking place later in the events. We'll see how it ends up going. But I think Christian will have a fast enough truck. He'll need to have a really good truck so Taylor doesn't get to him and try to dump him throughout the event. The third driver that will be competing for a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series title in 2024 is Grant Enfinger. Grant Enfinger's had a really solid season joining CR7 Motorsports in 2024. He's been one of the more lovable underdogs so far this year. Grant Enfinger has won 2 races so far in 2024, going back-to-back at Talladega and Homestead. He has 7 top 5s, 12 top 10s, has led 263 laps, and has a 10.8 average finish. This 9 team has been on a roll throughout these playoffs so far, and I go back to the end of the regular season where this 9 team is really starting to gel, because remember, they do get stuff from McAnally Hilgeman, but this is CR7 Motorsports. Last year, this team really struggled with Colby Howard, and I think this year they have really taken major steps forward to become a much more competitive organization. And so far, I think they've just done that. And Grant Enfinger has looked to almost have this championship last year. He has experience racing in Championship 4 last year. But unfortunately for Grant, he got kind of screwed over near the end of the event after all the chaos started ensuing. And then you have Ben Rhodes and him kind of get into it a little bit, and some other stuff happened throughout the race. But Grant Enfinger probably has also a major advantage going into this race because of the fact that quintessentially he's had 2 weeks to prepare. Only one that's probably had time to prepare at this point is Christian Eckes, but he won the first 2 races of the playoffs, and he gets a pretty big advantage too because he's going to be able to get that first pit stall. I think that first pit stall is going to be super, super critical for who has a really good chance to win the title. It's not going to be as big advantage as it's been in previous years. From what I have heard, I still think it's going to be a huge advantage to be that first pit selection, and I think that's going to lead to Grant Enfinger being able to pick it. And Grant's also been really good at Phoenix in the past as well. He's been a contender at this racetrack, so I think he'll have a very good chance and opportunity. He's the underdog going into this, and I think a lot of people would be very, very happy to see Grant win if Cory or Christian don't win, but I do think he's got a really good chance and opportunity. CR7 Motorsports has brought the pace and speed throughout the year so far, and he'll be looking to clinch it up and get it done for this team. We'll see how Grant ends up doing. I think he does have a really good chance, however, to win the title in 2024. We'll see how he ends up doing at Phoenix. And the 4th final driver competing for a championship this week is Tai Maisel. Tai Maisel has scored 2 wins so far in 2024, has 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s, has led 468 laps, and has 11.1 average finish. While he does have the worst average finish of all 4 drivers competing, he has been very solid on short ovals, very similar to a driver like Christian Eckes this year. Both his wins have come at shorter ovals, that being IRP and at Richmond as well. And he could have won a few more had a certain driver named Lane Riggs not been racing in Milwaukee, or also, of course, not racing at other tracks. I think that Tai Maisel's been really one of the few guys that has been able to keep up for most of the year with Cory Heim and Christian Eckes, though he's been beat by those guys throughout the year. I think he probably is the 4th going into this because I think that the 3 above him have probably been a little bit better this year, especially in recent weeks. But to be fair, he did run really well in Martinsville, and he doesn't have any enemies going into this round. And he's also a driver we know who is very strong at tracks very similar to this. I do expect that Tai Maisel will be a factor because he had really good speed in the race last year, if I remember correctly, at this track, and he's also been really good at this track in the past. And he does have prior Championship 4 experience when, of course, he did compete in the Championship 4 in 2022 and had a really good chance to get it done, but just got beat by Zane Smith at the end of the day. But I think that prior experience is really, really going to help Tai Maisel throughout this race. And I think that he'll have a truck, capable enough to be up there contending for the win and for the victory as well. I expect all 4 of these guys to be very quick. But I think Tai Maisel and this number 98 team are going to bring the pace and speed. And I think he'll be a major factor in serious contender. We'll see how he ends up doing and see how he ends up performing. But I do seriously think that Tai Maisel will be a major factor in serious contender for the championship when we get to Phoenix on Friday evening and show it down there later this weekend. So, those are the 4 drivers who are competing for the title. Who's my pick to win the championship? Well, straight off the bat, I'm going to say Tai Maisel ain't going to win the title. He hasn't had the pace to be the top 3 have had in recent weeks, in my opinion. I think he's going to be fast, but I think Maisel is going to be the 4th wheel. I think Grant Enfinger, while he is going to have 2 weeks to prepare, I still think his team was 1 year away from getting a championship. So I think while Grant is going to be very, very strong at Phoenix with a 2-week preparation, it'd be really cool to see him win the title. I don't think he's going to have the pace to win. That means it's going to come down to between Cory Heim and Christian Eckes for the championship. Now, originally, I was going to pick Christian Eckes to win this title because Christian Eckes has been really strong and has probably been the fastest truck all year so far. My problem with Christian winning the title, though, is he's got a driver that is not happy with him, and that is Taylor Gray. If he doesn't have a truck that's so superb over Taylor Gray in this event, I think that Taylor is going to exact out for revenge in some sort of capacity. I don't think he's going to flat out dump him, but he might ship him off into a corner on a late restart if he's anywhere near him. And he's also a teammate, of course, to Cory Heim. So the driver who I'm picking to win the championship is going to be Cory Heim. I think Cory Heim is going to win his first Craftsman Truck Series championship later this week. Cory Heim, in my opinion, this number 11 team has been so consistent throughout the year. They have had some mistakes, there's no denying that, but I think he's going to get revenge from last year. I think he's going to bring the speed that he needs to bring. He had a way better truck than everybody in the field last year. I think he's going to bring the pace. He's been really good at these types of tracks as well. I know he's been a little more mortal in recent weeks because he hasn't been as strong the last few weeks, but I do think that Cory Heim and this number 11 team are going to have the speed to contend. So I think that Cory Heim is going to be your 2024 NASCAR Craftsman Trucks champion. I think he'll be your champion later this week. So that is going to be it for predictions for the 2024 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, and if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link in the description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. Who is your pick to win the 2024 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship? Let me know it in the comments below. Later this week, of course, so tomorrow we will have race picks for the NASCAR Truck Series race. We also are going to have Xfinity Championship 4 predictions. Then on Wednesday, we're going to have Cup Championship predictions and a NASCAR news video, along with Xfinity Series race picks as well. And if any major news breaks throughout the week, we'll discuss it here live on the channel. Thursday, Cup race picks for the championship race, and of course the paint scheme video. And then on Friday, we'll have a NASCAR news video along with some other content dropping that you will see on the channel throughout the next couple days. Got a ton of great content dropping really soon, like Haley, Dean Carlos, all that kind of stuff. You'll see that on the channel over the course of the next couple days as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.